Hello, welcome to the GENXYZ Podcast. I'm your co-host, Micah, and we have...
Gavin, hello there. I am Gavin. Nice to see you folks. That could have been more awkward.
This was actually your idea, Gavin.
Mm-hmm.
And
yeah.
It's very rare that someone recommends a book that I haven't heard of before. Surprisingly, I can't believe I've never heard of Randy Pausch's The Last Lecture. And
Great man.
so you got it from the library, correct?
I did. Yep. I have a library card. I'm not a fast reader, so I've had to pay my dues to the library. I got a couple overdue books,
That's very old-fashioned of you.
Yeah, they don't like me very much there.
A lot of your kids your age still go to the library to check out books?
Just losers.
Well,
I don't think so. I don't know.
True. But what kind of drew you to the book initially? Why did you pick it up?
Well, I think it sounded like he had a lot to offer on ideas on how to live life and just different perspectives on certain things that I couldn't understand. So I thought it'd be really interesting to see his point of view.
Did someone recommend the book to you, or is this random?
No, just random. I forget. I think I saw it actually just on Instagram. Funny enough, but
As
most
people get their information from Instagram these days.
Yeah.
At least that's like the portal, and then you go down rabbit holes.
Yeah. I was like, yeah, that looks like a good book. So.
Well, it's a great catch. It's a great read.
Yeah.
I thoroughly enjoyed it, so I picked it up, ran through it. It's a very quick read, and if you just Google it, you will find the book, but you will also find an actual recording of Randy Pausch giving his last lecture. So let me give you the backstory real quick. Randy Pausch is a very successful virtual reality professor from Carnegie Mellon, and he is quite a remarkable story. Now, unfortunately, he was diagnosed with pancreatic cancer, and the doctors gave him maybe, 6 months to live. And so he knows that he's going to die. So the book kind of opens that. He opens his lecture with that as well. But I think that's one of the most impactful.
Elephant in the room, yeah.
Yeah. He's like, so we're just going to do that. The elephant in the room is the book is
his last testament to life. It's last lecture he can give as a professor, a passion of his, lecturing. So it's his final story of his life and a lot of his childhood dreams and things he looked to pursue and important in his life. So.
And it's pretty sad because he's got a great wife and he's got 3 little kids.
Yep.
And so I think a big theme in the book was him trying to pass on those lessons to his children.
Yeah.
And I don't think, he really knew it was, you couldn't really know how much of an impact he was going to have, but the lecture was packed, and this has been a bestseller, and this is his, I don't know how many copies and how many people have read it.
I think a lot of, and I was reading it every time someone like, oh, what book is that? I'm like, oh, it's an interesting take on life. So a lot of people want to learn from what he had to say, and he's a very smart guy too, to be able to give a lecture on important things. So, and also I think it's important to mention he sounds like he's so happy, like so many good things, and like he's got a great family. He found the wife, the lady of his entire life, and he's sitting here with an amazing career. This guy's got it all, and here he is, terminal cancer, and
well, he's left with a decision, and I think that was one of the greatest quotes where he's like, it is what it is. We can't change it. We just have to decide how we'll respond. We cannot change the cards we are dealt, just how we play the hand. So it really put me in a perspective. Is like, what if this happened to me? What if they told you, Micah, you have pancreatic cancer and you have 3 good months left, and then 3 months after that, it's going downhill. So it really put me into perspective. It's like, what would I do if I was going to live my life like I only had 6 months left? I would want to have the same energy, the same enthusiasm, and the same positive outlook that Randy had. In fact, there's a lot of a good quote later on in the book was someone who saw him. So he was driving his convertible. He's got the hair down,
yeah.
and the person who saw him was like, you would never know that you were on death's door.
Yeah.
But that was just who he was. So great things to embody, and very, very inspirational character.
Yeah, and I think that quote also goes towards every aspect in life. You know, how do you deal with the small things, the big things, a lot of things you can't control, and I think that's what he's getting at. You know, his is the very extreme side where it's his cards are, fatal, but every day you're dealt some cards and you got to make what you can of them. So I think that was a big lesson for any person, no matter how big or small your problems are. So
what really speaks to what he was pulling together is his legacy is this book, and his legacy is the last lecture, and really it's him transcending those values to his kids who are going to be too young to understand at the moment. They're all very young.
Yeah.
And so he wanted to leave a lasting legacy, knowing that he wouldn't be there throughout their lives to give them the important lessons he wanted to deliver in those moments when they needed him. So he really poured a lot of effort into this book and a lot of effort into that last lecture. You can actually find it on YouTube. You can just Google it, Randy Pausch, the last lecture. And he basically goes through like 200 slides and his whole life. He is a really funny guy. We both read the book before watching the lecture. We actually just watched it before firing up this podcast. Really funny guy. And I wish that someday I could be an instructor, be a teacher. Yeah. Be a teacher like Randy.
And he seems like he really loves the art form of teaching, and props to him. He's really good at that. So he makes it pretty interesting.
So I wanted to pull one of the first quotes on the book, and you actually mentioned it when we were first looking at this book. I thought it was very interesting. He was referencing someone who's very hard on him, and how that influence of having this football coach that was particularly hard on him, driving him. And he offered up some sentiments, saying there was a practice where he was particularly hard on him, and an assistant said, you know what? That's a good thing, because when you're screwing up and nobody says anything to you anymore, that means they've given up on you. And so it was a kind of an interesting perspective. And Randy said how that was a very valuable lesson, because when no one's giving you any feedback, they don't care enough to tell you and reach out and have that, because it's like they have a belief that, hey, you can do better. Like, this is tough stuff, but you're a tough character. You can do this. And when you don't have that feedback, that's a bad place to be. So you may not want to hear it, but your critics are often the ones telling you they still love you and care about you and want to make you better. So kind of speaking to it, that was a very important influence that he really leveraged for he brought out in the book.
Yeah, and it's definitely important. Oh, that's mine. It's definitely he's trying to steal my tea here, man. It's on camera. We saw that. It's definitely important to have people in your life that surround yourself with people that are looking to work hard and looking to make you better. So I think that's very important, and
really goes into the most impactful quote from the book was these challenges or these walls, barriers that you run into, having the perseverance to, he's obviously trying to fight through practice, and the coach is telling him, like, get up again, get up again, keep going.
Yeah, and it just kind of shows his personality. He wants to fight through anything that comes. I believe you have a quote that goes exactly with the brick wall. I think that's probably the most encompassing quote of who he is too.
Right. Yeah.
And it's just one of the more important things you need to take into account for your own life. I think, because we all run into things that are really hard to get past. So here you get the quote.
Yeah, it was from page 51 or chapter 11, and he was talking about all the setbacks he had. He actually was brought in to Disney as an Imagineer, which is the team that kind of dreams up all these crazy attractions and these crazy ideas. And so he had a lifelong dream of getting in there and had to overcome some challenges but he finally got in there and became actually like a long-term consultant to Disney.
It's insane the things he's worked around too. I mean, I know we haven't gotten to the quote yet, and we'll talk about this later, but the amount of weird things that were roadblocks, and most people are like, oh, whatever, I'm done.
Well, you're right, because he really, in the quote, he says, that was, those are setbacks, but this is his mantra that he kept in mind. The brick walls are there for a reason. They're there to let us prove how badly we want something. And he was pretty, and actually he brought out in the lecture, I don't think this is in the book, he's like, yeah, there's a lot of people that didn't make it. Like, they hit the wall and then they never got through it or around it. And he was that persistence, that perseverance, that it was like all those brick walls that he had to go through, which I think is great perspective. I could tell, it's like, this is a guy who wants to pass this on to his kids. He wants to pass this on as one of the most valuable lessons of the mantra that he's had in his life is like, keep going. It seems like it's tough. It seems like you're not going to get through it, but have the perseverance to endure that, because if you do, it gives you an opportunity to show, yes, I really do want this.
Yeah. I mean, it's just such a cool quote and such a great mindset to have, put yourself, you can complete anything or do anything in this world as long as you work hard at it and you look to find ways to get over the things that are stopping you. So every day that can be used, and I think that's a good thing to have in all of our back pockets to really propel us forward and hunt for our dreams. Don't let those brick walls. And he said, he had his wife, he almost lost her, but he said, no, I'm marrying you. He wanted to be part of Disney. He almost got rejected of that. He didn't let that happen. He had another one. A bunch of examples where he uses that, and I think it really shows who he is. Mm-hmm. I think I need to work on that myself. I think.
Yeah, it was a really deep-rooted value, and one that I found particularly inspiring in the book is like, the stuff that you really want in life, it's probably not going to be easy. In fact, it's probably going to be a lot harder to accomplish than you initially realize. And so I'm kind of like, I've had to bust through a lot of walls in life, and I think you do look back on it, and he's like, you know what? I took a look back and said, I kind of proved myself that I could do it.
Mm-hmm. And it's a complete truth. The people who want it will get it. Like, and that's, the people that didn't make it over the wall, they didn't make it, Mm-hmm. So that's why they're there. You got to fight through and keep your head up.
Well, it really is. I like a lot of times, you're weeding out who really wants it. And oftentimes it doesn't come down to talent. It doesn't come like pure talent alone is not. I think it's really like kind of like I felt like it was like a grit, like just a perseverance. Like, I am sticking with this. I am fully committed to this. I'm willing to make the sacrifices necessary to get through and make it happen. And I was like, that's Randy. He's like,
I personally love the word grit too. I love that you use that word because I think that encompasses a lot of things. Like the word grit in general, and this guy's got it, Well, I think even recently I applied to a job application. Like, I'm the guy with the grit for the job. I was sending someone jobs out, but
Gavin is the guy with the grit. Did they hire you?
I ain't giving up easy.
Did they hire you?
I don't think so. I don't think I got the job.
That's fine. Sometimes, but you have to really go out and try.
I'm the guy.
Give it
Listen
a go.
Here, folks. But on a real serious note, though, he is someone who really to model after, and I hope his kids really take after some of the words he has.
Well, they're probably about your age now.
Yeah, they probably are. Yeah. We were watching the lecture, and all the VR things are all just super old and freaking.
He was at the cutting edge of it, and it was really funny to see. He was like, "This is the project his students worked on," and they showed the virtual reality, and it looked like
just trash,
absolute worst,
crap.
But it was, But
at the time, it was.
At the time, it was very.
I'm sure it was.
It was important enough where he actually ended up briefing the SecDef on his work in virtual reality. Like,
it was that far advanced. People had no idea what this was.
Yeah, and it was really pushing an envelope that really hadn't been pushed before. So,
and you look at virtual reality today, and it's amazing. But
Well, let's bring it home.
Yeah.
One quote that I wanted to draw was actually earlier in the book, but he says, "Self-esteem is not something you give; it's something you have to build. There's only one way to build self-esteem. You find something you can't do, then you work hard until you can do it, and you just keep repeating that process until you're successful."
Oh yeah, yep. That's the same thing. Don't let those brick walls knock you down. And that's a great feeling too, completing things you can't think you can get done. And that's why it's important to take risks and get yourself out on things that you don't believe you can do. I think that it's just encompassed Randy. He honestly, yeah. Well, he didn't even seem like he'd take risks because he knew he could do it. He never told himself, I'm not going to be able to do this. And
sure, there'd be risks where you're like, the reward isn't worth it, but in this day, yeah, he did take a lot of risks to accomplish the things that he wanted to, pursue.
Yeah.
But
I think also part of it's like this quote said, he built his self-esteem.
Yeah.
He knew,
right,
because he kept pushing himself through his whole life, he knew nothing could stop him. And even cancer couldn't stop him from being the happiest guy ever.
Even in the face of that, which would crush your self-esteem, knowing that you're going to die.
Yeah.
You're leaving behind
I just couldn't
family.
imagine being in
that's
shoes.
just a horrible situation. But he really did remarkable at playing the hand that he was dealt.
Yeah.
And but that is so true, kids. Self-esteem is not something you give or you can buy on Amazon. It's something you have to build. And how do you build it? There's only one way to build it.
For you guys.
No. There's only one way to build that self-esteem. You find something you can't do, then you work hard until you can do it and prove that, which proves to you that you can do it. And then he's like, that's just a process that you just keep on repeating.
Yeah, and then the other way, I feel like in my life I've gotten stuck in ruts where I'm not working hard enough at things, or I start getting lazy, and then you get stuck in this way, you don't believe you can start doing things. And I've seen it happen to other people. They get stuck sitting around, and it can really, really take off in the opposite direction. So every day working to complete things you didn't think you could do is so important, and it does propel you forward and higher up. So I think that is so important in life. You just always train yourself to be better. I think he even mentioned something about learning all the time too. And
it never stops.
Yeah.
It never stops. It's a process. So.
Yeah.
Well, that was great, Gavin. Way to bring it home.
Yeah. Great book, and I'm glad Micah decided to read it with me. You guys should all check it out. You can
check it out.
Get yourself a library card. I'm sure it'll be over there. People still do that. I think you can order it.
You can also get it on Amazon.
It's on Amazon.
Or Barnes and Noble.
It's a pretty cheap book too.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, did you see you see the quote I put for you in the?
Oh no, I didn't.
So open up like the first page. So I bought this.
Gavin.
But yeah, why don't you actually? So I bought this book, and I was like, you wanted to borrow it, and I was like, well, I'm not. You should have the book, because honestly, I wish I would have had that book when I was your age.
Yeah, I should. I'll definitely reread it a couple times.
Which I think is the great thing about this podcast is that we're going to be doing this for a long time, and the life is a great road. It's a long road, but I was like, you know what, this is kind of cool, because this whole podcast is an opportunity for us to, share our values, share and have those values transcend the viewers, which is mostly our parents and our nieces and nephews. If you're watching this and you're not related to us, thank you for your support.
You guys are the real ones. Come on in.
But
also the family too.
So maybe I wrote you this note. It's funny, you took the whole book and you read it for 2 weeks and you didn't see that quote.
No,
I think it's hilarious. So anyways, I can't even remember what I wrote there, but let's see if it was anything good.
Yeah, here. Garvin. So that's Garvin got a bachelor's. Not me, so.
The Michigan Tech.
Yeah. All right, here, I'll read it for you folks. Let this bird... sorry.
Let this bird... No, I spelled book right.
Micah's got some bad spelling, man.
Gavin can't read.
He doesn't know how to spell book. He's got to read this. Burke. I don't know how he spelled that. How do you... 2 O's, my God. You put an R in there? Okay. Here we go. Okay. Let this book serve you as a reminder that time plus health is life's greatest clemency?
Reminder that time and health is life's greatest currency.
Oh, currency. Okay, sorry.
So it's like how, like this book is...
Yeah, and that's something you
knowledge,
always...
power, like you can get money back. You can, if you have to register your car in 2 states, it's okay.
It's all good.
It's all opportunity costs, it's whatever, but you can't get that time back.
Yeah, that's something I always appreciate from you too, is like telling me about time and just seeing from the way you live, you time is money. You look at your time's worth and it's like, okay.
I don't want to waste it. I don't want to waste it.
Yep. So
the clock just gets faster once you get older, trust me.
So that's definitely important. How would you respond if you were in Randy's situation? His perspective is a gift and an approach that is all about what's most important in life. Very fundamental. Very simple. Keep it simple. Keep it fun. Stick to the fundamentals. Don't overstress it. Don't overthink it. Read this book often. Always be thankful for the time you have left. Micah. Thank you, Micah. That's truth, man. That's truth. Yep. And that's why I'm fortunate at this age. I'm trying to learn from everyone around me. Be fortunate of what I got. I got time. Time is my essence right now. So I'll continue to listen to what Randy has to say. Keep going my career. Keep fighting to get over these barriers and keep it simple. Have fun. That was a big thing too. He said have fun. Yeah, and then
he was always having fun. He's just a wild character. Hopefully, you guys check out the video and experience kind of like what this guy was all about.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Thank you again, Micah, and I hope you guys check it out.
The last lecture, Randy Pausch, reviewed on the GENXYZ Podcast.
Oh yeah.
All right. Sick.